Side quests can be a great thing, but most of the time they are designed so badly they actually do damage to a game. The thing is, it could be so easy for developers to avoid this. They just need to do one of three things to have a game with side quests gamers will enjoy and remember. We get to that in a minute, but before that we need to understand why side quests exist and what potential they hold. Ideally, side quests tell nice stories besides the main plot. They reward the player with things to use in combat and just let us stay longer in a game we hopefully enjoy. But one of my favorite games released this year annoyed me to death with its side quests. Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy XVI are very different games, but they have one thing in common. They have side quests. While I was playing FF16, I caught myself skipping every dialogue and cutscene of every side quest. Something I didn't do in Tears of the Kingdom. So I asked myself, why? What's the difference? And what makes a good side quest? Side quests have a purpose. While I was playing Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't understand the purpose of its side quests right away. Most of them don't really tell an engaging story, and the rewards for some of them aren't that special. Still, I enjoyed them quite a lot and I tried to do as many as I could. After around 50 hours with the game, I finally understood why. The purpose of side quests in Tears of the Kingdom is exploration. Of course you can find every cave, well and treasure on your own, but the side quests are designed with one thing in mind: direction. Since most gamers try to get from one quest point to the other as fast as possible, Nintendo knows exactly where to put the next quest destination, so you as a player can find caves, treasures and other great stuff on the way. And the best part about it? It's so subtle that you will always feel like you discovered something on your own. The purpose of FF16 side quests, however, is something completely different. Final Fantasy XVI is a more linear game, so exploration is not really a thing here. The majority of the side quests don't tell a story I'm eager to follow either, and gameplay-wise, they don't provide anything we have not already experienced. So what's left is the most simple purpose of them all: rewards. 16 rewards the player with XP, gil, items and renown, which is used to unlock special items. Rewarding the player with the useful things for completing the quest, without telling something interesting, expanding the world building or letting the player fight a cool boss, is a totally valid thing to do. So why did the side quests of Final Fantasy XVI annoy me that much? The simple reason is that it didn't respect my time. Yes, some rewards are great, but many quests take a disproportionate amount of time only to get a mediocre reward. There are quests that require you to fast travel from one point to the next, only to briefly talk to an NPC and then fast travel back and run from A to B to C and so on. So that's why I eventually skipped every dialogue and cutscene of the side quests, because it already took me so much time to run around. This is when side quests start to feel like work, which is the last thing I want a game to make me feel, because I already have a full-time job. So while I was playing 16, I was thinking about side quests I actually enjoyed. It didn't take long until the Hildebrand questline in Final Fantasy XIV came to mind. This is easily one of my favorite questlines ever, because it tells a funny story full of memorable characters I actually care about. But most importantly, it does something that neither Tears of the Kingdom nor Final Fantasy XVI does. It provides gameplay I wouldn't be able to experience otherwise. Let me explain. Besides the story of FF14, the most enjoyable part of it are the boss battles. Every single one of them is designed differently, and for every boss fight you need to memorize the boss's behavior and mechanics. The Hildebrand questline unlocks a few of these boss fights, which for me is the ultimate reward of a side quest. Similarly, some games even block some areas behind side quests, like Elden Ring. Some would argue that this is unfair to only make certain areas or boss battles only accessible after completing a quest, but I think even more developers should do that, because of one simple reason: it rekindles the sense of wonder. Ultimately, the goal of every game developer and publisher is to sell their games. In a time where social media is dominating our everyday life, there's nothing better for a game than people talking about it on Twitter, Instagram and gaming magazines. That's exactly what happened with Elden Ring. The reason for that is the sheer amount of things to discover, such as the subscribe button, which can be found beneath this video. That led people wondering what amazing piece of equipment they could find or what area they could discover next. And that's partially thanks to Elden Ring's amazing side quests. Now that leads me to the conclusion I mentioned at the beginning of the video. and answers the question, what makes a good side quest? A good side quest is one that does one of these three things. It tells an engaging story, it rewards the player properly, it gives the player something gameplay-wise they wouldn't otherwise get. I think a side quest only needs one of those things. If the characters involved in a quest are boring and I don't care for the story it tries to tell, then that's fine with me, as long as I am rewarded with something useful, or maybe had a nice mini-boss or something. Or maybe the rewards are bad, but the story is captivating. At best, a side quest has all of that. A perfect example would be Ranni's quest in Elden Ring. It tells a great story that is also intertwined with the main plot. It unlocks areas you couldn't otherwise reach, and the reward is one of the best weapons in the game. Obviously, I'm not a game designer, and yes, maybe it's easier said than done. Developing a game is not an easy task. Oftentimes it takes hundreds of people to produce a piece of art that has the difficult task of being entertaining to as many people as possible. For that, it ideally needs to be innovative, have mass appeal, and be bug and glitch free. I can imagine that this is a very difficult thing to do. The things I mentioned ultimately come down to one thing, and that's the only thing I would love developers to keep in mind. Make side quests worth our time. I hope this video was worth your time. If that's the case, then maybe it's worth clicking that subscribe button, which is right next to that beautiful bell you can ring to never miss one of my videos. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.